Hi everyone and welcome to Cretaceous Cantina, where today we're having a look at the Mattel Jurassic World Primal Attack Soundstrike Irritator. It's a weird name, isn't it? Irritator. If you watched my recent Instagram live, you saw me unboxing these guys. I bought the whole wave from Amazon Japan. It was an awesome experience. Pre-ordered them and they shipped and arrived within 3 days, which was pretty awesome. Along with these Savage Strikes that I also pre-ordered most recent wave. So Irritator, you could see, was brand spanking new. It even had the little pull string right there behind the figure, so that's still there. And yeah, Primal Attack packaging looks really cool. Really like the aesthetic here. It's got the awesome Japanese lettering right there for the hiragana. I think it looks great. Here at the back, it shows you what you can do. It's got thrashing action, it's got head strike, and you know, all the little lettering and stuff right there. Other items available in this wave, Jurassic World fax app, and try it before you buy it. All right, I'm gonna take a moment, get the Irritator out of the packaging. When we come back, we'll take a closer look. Here's the Irritator out of the packaging, and I mean, does it look irritated? I guess kind of a little. And this is also a unique one. Like I said, brand new sculpts, you know, brand new species that look different from anything we've had in this toy line are kind of what grabbed my attention these days. And surely this is something kind of unique. I mean, just proportionally speaking, it's different. Like, look at the silhouette. It's a little baryonyx-like, but there's a bit of a fin on the back, and you know, the pose is a little different too. So it's interesting. You know, the pose actually reminds me a little bit of the Metriacanthosaurus, like just how it's kind of like curved, like towards the back. It's definitely different. Now, this is pretty stylized. If you've been collecting this line for any amount of time, that shouldn't come as a huge surprise. So, you know, it does look a little bit kiddie. It does look a little bit toony. I mean, that's fine. We've come to expect that. I don't love seeing that like on the movie dinosaurs that we actually see in the Jurassic films, but on these more like off-screen dinosaurs, it's not the worst thing in the world. I do wish they were a little more realistic than what we've been getting, but it is what it is. Let's talk about the overall aesthetics though. Like I said, the sculpt is interesting in terms of the silhouette. As far as the actual like body, you can see that there is some pretty good sculpt work going on here. The front of the head, you can see there is some texturing going on. It's pretty decent, very crocodilian-like down here at the lower jaw. And you can see inside the mouth. They didn't paint the roof of the mouth, but they did sculpt the tongue pretty well. You can see some pretty nice sculpting there, and it's painted. The little sides of the mouth back here are painted. You can see the teeth. It reminds me a bit of the Indominus Rex just because the teeth are kind of like just jutting out from the jaw rather than from like the gums. There aren't any gums present here. So yeah, very interesting dental situation. The teeth themselves are an off like yellow coloring. They're not very sharp or pointy. They're kind of blunt, which makes it look a little even more cartoony. And then the eyes are like a lime green color with a little like blue pupil. You can see right there. They look pretty good. This one looks a little bit different like than this one. This one kind of looks like it's looking down a little bit. And then, you know, throughout the rest of the body, some pretty decent sculpting. This is actually not too bad that you can see there. Jurassic World fax app, if you are doing that, you can grab that right there. Big sound hole here on the bottom connected to the little battery like compartment. There's a screw right there to get that out. And the tail is a little bit small. I'm not too familiar with the species. Like I said, Irritator, it's something different. But it does seem a little bit small. Maybe that's accurate though. I do rather like these little fins here at the top of the body, the little sail that it's got kind of going on, going into the tail. Unfortunately, they did not paint it down here in the tail. Would have been really nice had they carried on this blue all the way back here. They did not. As far as the color goes, it's basically like this very muddy sort of like clay-like color. It's like a reddish brown sort of color that they went with for most of the body. But then you also have this more of this marine blue that you get here on the snout, carrying down here to the back of the main part of the body. And then a lighter blue here as well that you can see right here in this area. It's more of a sky blue that you get there. And it's interesting. It actually reminds me a little bit of like a sailfish or a blue marlin, you know, something like that, you know, just in terms of the colors here on the back. They did not paint the front limbs. They did not paint the hind limbs as far as the claws go, but they look decent enough as is. Also a bit of a cream color down here at the bottom, like a dark cream color right there. In terms of the joint, so you do have a jaw here at the You do have a hinge here at the lower jaw, so you can open it, you can close it, and like I said, it does look a little bit cartoony. I mean, it does remind me a bit of the Spina. It reminds me a bit of the Suchomimus. And here at the front limbs, you do have insert molded joints, so those twist and go about in any which way direction. I appreciate that. The hind limbs are basically the same thing you see on most of these Mattel figures. They swivel forward and back, and they kick out a little bit to help you balance it. We do have articulation here at the neck and at the tail, but that is integrated into the action feature. The way that that works is you're going to grab the tail and you're going to puppeteer your dinosaur. So you can go down, bring it up, and you can go side to side. Now, I don't know if they tweaked previously used sounds from other dinosaurs, but the sounds seem pretty unique to me. I don't remember hearing these exact sounds before. I like them. I mean, they seem different enough to me, so that is always good when we don't have reuse. As far as how our human action figures scale up next to the Irritator, here's Owen. You can see him standing next to the Irritator, and he comes up to the mouth of the creature. It's obviously pretty big. You wouldn't want to mess with this if you were in Jurassic World, but yeah, it gives you a pretty good idea of what to expect when you get this in your collection. Speaking of which, as far as our dimensions go, you're going to be looking at about 5.5 inches in height from front to back. We're going to be at around 11 inches, and in terms of the overall width of the figure, it's about 3 inches wide. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so there you have it. This is the Mattel Jurassic World Primal Attack Sound Strike Irritator. Overall, like I said, it's something different. We haven't quite had this in the line before, so I'm glad to see something unique. As far as the sculpt goes, it's not bad. Like I said, a little bit cartoony, a little bit kid-like, but that's really not all that surprising for this particular toy line. The overall sculpting and texturing on the figure is pretty good. The coloring isn't bad. It's a little bit different. I do quite like the shades of blue they went with on top. I just wish it carried down all the way to the end of the tail. I think that would have looked a lot better. But the action feature is fun, and the sounds especially are what really stand out to me here. I like the sounds quite a bit. Alright my friends, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Sound off down below about the Irritator. Will you be adding it to your collection? What do you think? Let me know. Be sure to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Subscribe to the Cantina Chatter podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, as well as the Collect Jurassic World podcast. As always, I'd like to thank you for tuning in to Victoria's Cantina. Until next time, bye-bye.